Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. That will help YouTube to promote my content. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those as well, and I will respond. Thank you again. So the next project I'm going to do is a series of pens. I'm going to do 5, so they're all going to be the same. And they're going to some co-workers of mine in the U.S., down in the south. So there's some special wood. It's birdseye maple, which grows northern United States and southern Canada, relatively small zone, but some beautiful wood. See, I don't know if you can see it here, but hopefully you can. There's a significant amount of eyes in this piece of wood. The eyes are a disease in the wood, but they're very well sought after. I've got 2 kinds of maple here. Well, both maple, but this one, you'll notice these 2 are darker than these. These are what's called cooked or roasted maple. It just makes it a little bit darker. I also find it exaggerates the eyes a little bit more. Again, hopefully you can see that. So we're going to go ahead and doing 5 pens all the same. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these out. And then once I do, we'll drill them, then turn them on the lathe. Each pen kit comes with a brass tube that goes inside the wood, inside the hole I'm going to drill out here in a moment. So the first thing I do is I mark the blank that I have for its length, and I cut it to length just slightly longer than the brass tube. The next step in the process is to drill a hole in the middle of the blank to receive the brass tube. Here you can see a homemade jig that I've made. It's just 2 boards with a hinge on the back and a square hole cut in it to hold the pen blank. What this does is it keeps the pen blank from turning while I'm drilling it, and it also keeps it square so that I can drill the hole down through the center of the blank. Once I have a hole drilled in the blanks, the next thing I do is I sand the brass tubes down so that they're a little bit rough, which will just give them a better mating surface when I glue them in place. Next, I take medium CA glue and I put that all over the brass tube and then insert that into the pen blank. You'll notice here I have an insertion tool which just helps push the blank in and prevents it from getting the glue all over my hands. This glue, CA glue, is also known as super glue. If you do get this on your fingers, it's not coming off until the skin falls off. So you do have to be careful when you insert the brass tube to make sure that you get it in quickly, and also give it a little turn just to make sure that it bonds well with the wood. Here I have a barrel trimmer. It's meant to fit just inside the brass tube, and on my drill press I use the barrel trimmer just to square up the end. So you remember earlier I cut the blank on my bandsaw. This was not a smooth cut and possibly not straight. The barrel trimmer gives me a straight edge that's perpendicular to the brass tube, which will make the pen fit up much better. Here you can see the freshly squared ends on my pen blank. The next thing I do is I have 2 bushings, which I put in each end of the brass tube. Again, these bushings fit exactly inside the tube, and the outer diameter of the bushing is where I'm going to turn the pen down to. Once on the bushings, the whole thing slide onto a mandrel, which is tightened up to prevent the blank from spinning, and then everything is tightened up so that I can spin the pen blank on the lathe. Turning pens is actually a good way to learn some of the basics of tools and tool control on wood. Here you can see I'm using my bowl gouge and I'm running it along the pen blank itself, which I find is the easiest way to make it round. The other thing that you'll notice is on the front edge of the bowl gouge, I'm riding the bevel along the wood. This ends up giving me the best surface. When you ride that bevel as you're cutting, it gives you the smoothest possible surface. Here you'll notice I'm actually doing a cut called a push cut, and that's one that you'll use even later on when you're doing bowls. So what you can see here is I'll get it started and I just push my bowl gouge along the length of the wood. And you can see, in this case, probably an 1/8 of an inch ridge in front of my tool. And I'm just pushing that ridge along and bringing it all down to the same diameter, hence called a push cut. The other thing you'll notice is that I tend to work from both directions. I find that if you just push from one end right through to the other, you do run the risk of chipping out on one end as you push through. Once I get it close to the final diameter that I'm looking for, I'll sometimes switch to other tools. Here you can see I'm using a carbide tool. Sometimes you have to experiment with different woods, with different tools, just to see which will give you the finest surface. Usually the last tool I use is a skew. It's got a flat surface, so if I run that along the length of my pen, that'll smooth out any fine ridges, any small little dips that I may have created as I was using my other tools. Here you can see I'm starting the sanding process. When I do this, you'll notice that I'm using my hands a lot, just testing, rubbing the length of the blank up against the bushing just to make sure that the final diameter is correct. You want to make sure that the wood is exactly the same dimensions as the bushings. I start sanding with 120 grit, then I work my way up eventually to 400 grit. When I'm done sanding at 400 grit, I always like to take some shavings, get a pinch between my fingers, and then hold that against the wood just to burnish it. I find that that really gives me a very, very smooth finish and starts to bring out some shine. When burnishing, you want a good pinch between your fingers and you want to rub it till it gets hot. And I will warn you, it can get very warm, so that's why you want to make sure you've got lots of material between your fingers so you don't burn yourself. Here you can see, after I've sanded it, you can see the eyes starting to develop in the wood. So these little dots that you see that I'm pointing out here are the eyes in the birdseye maple. Next, I start to apply the finish. Over the years, I've experimented with different finishes. What I find works best is actually the CA glue. Pens are a very difficult application for a finish because they're constantly being handled with your hands, and the oils in your hands will attack most finishes. The CA glue is a very, very durable finish and also develops the best gloss. The process for applying the CA glue finish is after I've sanded it and burnished it, then I put a few drops on the paper towel and a little bit on the wood itself and then rub it in. Again, rub it fairly hard, generating a little bit of heat. When applying the glue finish, you want to make sure that you keep your paper towel moving and also that you don't rub it too long so that the glue starts to dry on the paper towel. Unfortunately, usually I use the blue shop towels. I didn't have any at this point, so I ended up using regular paper towels. Sometimes they will stick and leave little bits of paper towel in your finish, which means you've got to start over again and sand them off. I was fortunate this time that did not happen, and I was able to get a nice smooth finish. Every time I go to apply the glue, I always move to a fresh spot on the paper towel, again so that the paper towel won't break down and end up sticking to my pen. Once I've applied 10 coats of the CA glue, the next step is to wet sand. For this, I start with these micro mesh pads that you can see here. I start at about 4,000 grit and work my way up to 12,000. And this is a wet sanding process. So generally I wet the first one, and then the blank is wet enough. And then as I'm moving up through the grits, sometimes I'll re-wet them again. You can tell when they start to get dry. You can tell by the change in sound. Now that it's been wet sanded, you can see that I find it almost makes it look three-dimensional. It really adds a layer of depth to the finish, and it really draws out the eyes. Here I'm just cleaning up the ends of the tubes. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of finish that'll bleed over onto the surface that I've squared up on the end of the tube. So I just rub it on one of the micro mesh pads just to remove any finish that may have built up there. Each pen is different, so when you go to assemble, you just have to follow the directions. But you'll see here I'm putting the lower nib on the bottom of the pen. I use my drill press as a press. You'll see that I have a bolt in the key, and I just use the drill press itself to press the wood onto the lower part of the brass. I'm also just feeling the bottom of the nib, the transition point from the bottom mechanism to the tube, just to make sure that there's no ridges there at all. At this point it would be too late if there was, but it's just a point of habit, and I just want to make sure that there is no transition there at all. Again, as I mentioned, each pen kit is a little bit different. This one having a push-click button, I needed to manufacture a block to go on the top so I'm not pushing directly on the push mechanism. So all I did was drill the hole in a block so that it would fit down over top of the push button so that I could use, again, the drill press to press the two halves together. Once all parts of the pen have been pressed together, next I put in the ink cartridge. These ink cartridges are standard Parker cartridges, so they can be replaced. That way the pen can last for years, just replacing the cartridge. I have currently a pen that I use every day, which is also birdseye maple, and I've been using it every day for the last 5 years. And it looks as good now as the day when I first finished it. Here are the 5 finished pens. As I mentioned, are for some co-workers of mine in the US. One feature that you'll notice is right at the bottom of the wood pen part, at the bottom nib, there's a feature ring. That feature ring is actually small silver Canadian flags, maple leaves, sorry. And I thought it'd be a nice touch just with the birdseye maple and going to co-workers in the States. Here's the finished product in a wooden case. I did not make the wooden case, I purchased it, but I think the case is just a nice way to show off what hopefully will become a keepsake. I hope my co-workers enjoy these pens, but I also hope that anyone else watching this video has learned something and has enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment if there's anything else you'd like to see, any feedback on this video, I'd appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe.